I'm just going to walk you through the idea for a very simple drill and practice maths game using MIT's tool Scratch. To get to Scratch, we go to scratch.mit.edu and we have a screen that looks a little like this. We have here a stage. The stage can have multiple backdrops if we wish. We have characters, in this case a cat, that wears a particular costume and that follows a set of instructions on the stage here. So we have characters following a script, maybe wearing costumes, walking around on the stage, which itself could have backdrops. All of that language reasonably familiar. Drill and practice game. Question answer, mental arithmetic, maths. Broadly speaking, the rules are something like, I'm going to ask you a question. If you get it right, then I'll tell you have. If you get it wrong, I'll say you haven't. And we can keep doing that a few times and we can keep track of the score as we do so. So that's the basic idea there. I could write up a flowchart, but I'm just going to get on and write some code here. I've got an idea in my head of what it is I'm wanting to do. With Scratch, a good way of starting a program is using this little green flag to initialize things. It seems to be the standard method. And we're going to start by asking a question. We're going to say, what is 7 times 8? And wait for an answer. And that answer gets stored in that little temporary variable there. What we're going to do now is test whether that's right or not. So I'm going to put an if and then here. And then I'm going to have an operator which checks whether the answer's right. So if the answer is the answer to 7/8, which is 56, then I'm going to say that it is. So I'll say that's right. 2 seconds takes quite a while, so let's just go for half a second. Otherwise, else, say that's wrong. And again, we'll have that up on screen for 0.5 seconds for the sake of consistency. We probably don't need the exclamation mark in there. Let's have a look at that, testing whether it's working. What is 7 times 8? 54. No, that's wrong. Have another go. 56. Now, a one question times table test is not a particularly challenging thing, is it? So let's put a loop in there and do more than one question. Let's ask 10 questions and just drag that into position there. Let's have a look now. Can you predict what's going to happen? Hope so. So what is 7/8? 54, no, 56, 56, 56. It's the same question, which I don't think is a particularly effective sort of way of testing somebody's times table knowledge. How can we improve this? Well, we could ask a few more questions. So we could say, I don't know, what is 4 times 5? That's going to be very predictable if we keep asking the same questions. It's also going to be really boring to type all of that in. So what we really want is the computer to generate these questions randomly, automatically. And we're going to need a couple of variables if we're going to do that. So I'm going to call variable A here, which is a box to store a number in. And I'm going to have another variable, which we're going to call variable B, predictably enough. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do with this. So I'm going to say set A to be a random number. And I suppose we really should go up to our 12 times 12 tables now. And then I'm going to set B to be a random number from 1 to 12. Okay, and then this question is one which we're going to generate automatically, depending on what these are here. Now to do that, we need to join together words and numbers, and we're going to use this join command to do that. So what is A times B question mark? That should give us enough room. What is, and then that variable goes into the next box, whatever it may be. And then space times space, B, whatever's in there, and then we can put a question mark at the end. And so that should automatically generate us a times tables question. Okay, so let's have a look at this program. Let's see how this goes, shall we? Okay, so what is 5 times 4? That's 20. Well, that's wrong. 20 is still wrong. What if I say 56? That's right. So what's the problem here? I wonder. Oh, I see what I've done. I've got the number 56 still there. And of course, that's not always going to be the answer. It's only going to be the answer 2 times out of every 144. So we've got to work out what the answer is here. So let's see if we can make Scratch do that for us. If the answer is the answer to whatever A is, times whatever B is, then say it's right, otherwise say it's wrong. So let's have a go at that, see how we get on. What is 2 times 9? 18. Yes! Oh, and then, strangely, it's asking the same question. Seems to keep asking the same question. Now let's just put that back up on screen. Can you see what the problem is here? Yeah, that it's asking A at the beginning and setting B at the beginning, and then going round the repeating loop. Whereas really what we need to do is have that inside the loop. So that's, finding a bug in the program and correcting a bug in the program. That looks much better now. Again, let's test that this is working. What's 12 times 6? 72. 6 3s are 18. 9 11s. Let's see what happens if we get one wrong. That's looking fine, isn't it? Okay. How could we improve on this? Well, we could put a score up here. I can hide these numbers A and B and make a new variable called the score for all sprites. Let's set the score to 0 up at the beginning and only increase the score when we get a question right. So that's looking better. Let's move this up here. You've got the option to make that a large readout. So clicking on the green flag, that'll be 66. That'll be 36. Notice my score going up. That'll be 70. And that's fine, isn't it? Okay, there are other ways to do this, of course. So, for instance, one thing you could do is have the cat racing across the screen there. Now you've got 480 dots from left to right. So if we start the cat at, I don't know, let's say minus 220, somewhere like that. So at the beginning of the game, let's make the cat always go to the same place. If we go to minus 220, 0, so that's 220 over to the left and dead on the centre line. And then every time we get the answer right, we can move the cat on a little. So let's say we've got 440 dots from left to the right hand side of the screen and 10 lots of that. So if we move him left 44 dots, so move, I'm going to do it by changing the x coordinate, that's the across coordinate, by 44. And we could introduce an element of jeopardy here by saying when we get the answer wrong, he's going to move back. Sorry, that's the wrong one, isn't it? Change x by minus 22 when we get something wrong. And we could actually take points off the score. Let's see how that's looking like. 7 4s 28, that's right, moves on. 9 2s are 18, that's right, moves on. 6 12s, let's get this one wrong. 45, that's wrong, and he moves back. And we could then, of course, introduce some sort of race there. We could have another cat. Let's duplicate this one. Pop him over here. Okay, so I've got two sprites. When I duplicated, the script came with him. So I'm going to get rid of most of this script here from sprite 2. And let's have this sprite. Let's pop the y coordinate at, say, minus 120. And what we'll have here is just this cat, the second cat, racing along at so many clicks a second, or whatever. And that's going to be a relatively simple repeat so many times loop. Now remember, 440 dots across, so we could have repeat 44 times. Change the x coordinate by 10. And then we can have a variable in here to control the speed. So, or we can have a number in here which controls the speed. So every 0.2 of a second, increase that x coordinate by 10. We don't need the rest of that script. Let's have a look at this one now. Oh, so he's racing ahead. 36, 72. I'm not going to catch up. Not if I mistype. 5 times 1. That's looking too fast for me. So let's try 0.5 seconds. I'll make this a little bit bigger this time. Let's see how I get on. 6, 132, 18. That's looking about the right pace. No, it's not 72. It's 108 and 16. Okay, it's still looking a little bit too fast for me. What about waiting 1 second for each move? 2 9s are 18, 56, 36. That's looking a much more comfortable pace. I'm in with a chance now, and you see that that second cat is there racing ahead. And we could, of course, have a game over condition when we get to the far edge of the screen. But I think I'm going to stop at this point and let you have a go at doing something like that yourself.